Hey guys, so before we get into today's video, I want to quickly bring up to you guys that I have a second YouTube channel now. If you guys have been liking the content that I've done on this channel, and you guys thought, man, this guy just likes to talk a lot. I wish he kind of did, smaller content on this channel. Well, I got the channel for you, introducing YGOU. So YGOU is essentially going to be the same stuff that I do on this channel, so don't expect too much different with this new channel. But this new channel is going to be the same stuff that I do, but more on the shorter side, around like 5-minute videos. Since, stuff like that on the main channel just doesn't really fit compared to the 10 to 20 minute videos that I do produce on this channel. So I decided that those type of videos, so like the one card videos that I've done on this channel before, like the Harpy's Pet Dragon video I did and the Astral Karibo, those cards like that are going to be on YGOU because I just feel like for what that channel is supposed to represent, it just fits a whole lot more. Now, it's not going to just be OCG TCG videos. There will be stuff for the anime, manga, and for the video game side of things as well, because I want to start getting more into the video game aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! But for the time being, it will be OCG TCG videos, just because I've done it in the past on this channel, and it's just a little bit more comfortable for me to essentially start off the channel with. So that's what that channel is going to look like for the time being, but it will be expanded upon as the channel continuously grows. So if you guys are interested in that, go and check out this new channel. It is YGOU, or there should be a link in the description for this new channel. So if you guys want to go and check out this channel, you guys can. By the time that you guys are seeing this video, there should be a video uploaded on YGOU for the new Wake Up Your Elemental Hero card that is set to release in the History Archive collection. So if you guys haven't seen anything about that card yet and you want to learn about the card, or if you just want to know my thoughts on the card, then go and check out YGOU, because that video should be up by the time that this video is uploaded. So with all that out of the way, thank you guys for listening, and let's get into today's discussion. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG TCG video. Today, guys, we are going to be going over the new hero support that is set to release in the newest main core set, Power of the Elements. We're finally getting news on the newest main core set following after Dimension Force, and the first batch of cards that we got is hero support, more specifically for Elemental Heroes. I'm very excited to be going over these new cards, as for people that don't know, heroes are one of my favorite archetypes of all time, so to see new support coming in this set, as this is going to be the cover set for Power of the Elements, I am very excited to be discussing these cards with you guys. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time, and let's get right into it. So as per usual with these card game videos, I'll go over the monsters first, then the extra deck monsters, and then end it off with the spells and traps. And the first card that we're going to be going over isn't actually a hero monster specifically, but it does help out the hero deck, and that is Cross Keeper, a level 2 Dark Warrior effect monster with 400 attack and defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon one elemental hero or Neospace monster from your hand or graveyard, but if special summon it from the graveyard, its effects are negated. If you special summon an elemental hero fusion monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, draw 2 cards, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So this is actually a pretty interesting card. It's essentially a way to be able to get more monsters onto your field to either go into link plays or fusion plays with its first effect. I do think with the first effect that I do think it's kind of dumb is that if you special summon a monster from your graveyard, its effects are negated. I don't know why it's specifically for monsters summoned from the graveyard. Maybe it's because, players can't just, oh, Foolish Burial, one of your monsters to the graveyard and then use this card to bring it back, and then you can just use its effects. Like, maybe that's why, but I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of dumb to do that, especially since you can just search the card from your deck, add it to your hand, use Cross Keeper to essentially special summon it and do it anyway. So I don't know why it's only in the graveyard. I think that's kind of dumb, but overall, not a bad card, and in the second effect, not even wanting to gloss over that, just essentially getting a +1 and can potentially get you a better hand because you can just send a card in your hand back to the bottom of your deck, and you essentially get 2 cards in it. So in overall case, again, you're going to get a +1 by just fusion summoning an Elemental Hero fusion monster, which that's what this deck normally is known for. So being able to get a +1 is pretty nice in my opinion. So overall, pretty nice card for the hero support. But with that being said, let's get into the next card, which is actually a new Elemental Hero monster, and that is Elemental Hero Spirit of Neos, a level 7 Light Warrior effect monster with 2500 attack and 2000 defense, and you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 spell and trap that mentions an Elemental Hero monster's name, or 1 polymerization from your deck to your hand, and during your main phase, you can shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, special summon 1 Elemental Hero normal monster from your deck. So, pretty cool card. First effect, I feel like you're never going to be using that first effect. The fact that you would have to rely on your opponent attacking you to be able to special summon this monster, I don't know, at that point, I feel like you should just use one of your cards to special summon this card. I just don't feel like it's worth using that first effect. But the second and third effects are actually pretty nice. To be able to search for a spell and trap that lists an Elemental Hero monster's name or 1 polymerization for your deck to be able to go into fusion plays is really nice to have, and then you can essentially shuffle this card back into your deck to be able to get an Elemental Hero normal monster for your fusion plays, aka getting Neos to your field to be able to go into your Neos fusions is really nice as well. The only issue I have with this card is that there isn't a really good way to special summon this card to your field. A card that I thought that would have been very helpful is with Neospace Connector, but since this card is not treated as a Neos, it can't be searched off a Neospace Connector, which is a little bit unfortunate. So you're going to have to essentially hard draw this card, and then you're going to have to find another means of being able to special summon this card to your field. But for what this card can do, I honestly think this is actually a really solid card in my opinion, but I just thought it would have been nice to be able to have an easier way to be able to special summon this card to your field, but obviously that's not the case. But with that said, that's going to be it for the main deck monster, so let's jump into the only new extra deck monster, which is Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, a level 8 Light Warrior Fusion effect monster with 3100 attack and 2500 defense, with a material requirement of Elemental Hero Neos and 1 Wingman fusion monster, and must be fusion summoned. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes on the field, gains 300 attack for each monster in your graveyard, and cannot be destroyed by effects, and if this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. So this is actually a really good card in my opinion. I mean, to be able to just pop cards in your opponent's field based off of the different attributes on the field by you and your opponent is really nice. I mean, you're guaranteed 1 pop, but depending on what the board state is, to have multiple pops is really nice to have. The second effect, to be able to gain an additional 300 attack for each monster in the graveyard, and it has protection. I mean, that's really nice, and this card is essentially going to be right off the bat gaining like 1200 or 1500 attack points, depending if you went into Flame Wingman or Shining Flame Wingman. You know, you'll have 4 cards in the graveyard with regular Wingman and 5 with Shining Flame Wingman, so that's a really nice buff. So this is going to be a very tough monster to beat over, and then if this card destroys a monster by battle, it gets to deal burn equal to its original attack. So this is a really good card in my opinion, what the only downside being that this is going to be a pretty tough monster to get out since you need Wingman and Neos in order to get it, which Neos isn't a problem, but I can see Wingman being the problem for getting the best out of this card. But if you're able to summon this monster, your opponent's going to be having a tough time to get over this monster. So overall, I really do like this card, and let me just say this as well, I love the fact that they finally have a Wingman and Neos fusion. Obviously, if you watched the GX anime, this was Judai's 2 ace monsters of the series, so to finally see a fusion between the two, I'm just really happy that they did that. I mean, this monster just looks so sick, and I'm really glad that they finally decided to make a fusion of Wingman and Neos. But with that being said, that's going to be it for the extra deck monsters, so let's get into the spells and traps. And the first card we're going to be going over is Engage Neospace, a normal spell card with the effect if you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. You can have special summon monsters from the extra deck to turn you activate this card, except fusion monsters. Send one Neospatian monster and one elemental hero monster to the graveyard, one from your hand and one from your deck. Special summon one Neospatian monster or one level 5 or higher elemental hero monster from your deck. If it's elemental hero Neos, it gains 1000 attack, and if you do, add one polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. In simplest terms, this card basically reads, send your hero Neospatian to the graveyard, special summon Spirit of Neos. Like, I literally just talked about how I kind of wish there was an easy way to special summon Spirit of Neos to your field without having to hard draw and then finding a way to special summon it. This card just solves that problem entirely. I mean, you just use this card, you send your cards to the graveyard, and then you're able to special summon your Spirit of Neos, and you're off to the races. The only thing I will say that is a little unfortunate is just the way you have to use this card. I mean, you have to require a hero and a Neospatian to send to your graveyard. And that's not the problem. The fact that you need one from your hand and one from your deck, which is not hard, I'm not saying that it is, but I just feel like it's a little bit weird. So a card that can maybe potentially allow you to basically get unbreaked if that ends up being the case, but instead you essentially have no ways of summoning the card. Let's say like you have no heroes or no Neospatians in your hand and you just essentially bricked and then you draw this card, you're still going to be bricked because of this requirement. But even with that being said, because that's definitely more on the situational side of things, I actually think this is actually a really solid card in my opinion. I think it does well for what it wants to do. But with that, let's get into the next card, which, oh boy, I've been ready to talk about this card. I actually knew about this card before even going over the support. Like, the effects and stuff are blind, but I did know about this card because this has been posted all over Twitter, and you'll guys see in a second why when I get into it. But Instant Contact is a normal spell card with the effect if you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Pay 1000 life points, special summon one level 7 or lower elemental hero or Neospatian monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, but if you do not have elemental hero Neos on your field or in your graveyard, the summoned monster cannot attack, its effects are negated, also return it to the extra deck during the end phase. So this card is basically instant fusion for the hero deck, which is really nice to have, and funny enough, you could actually play this card outside of hero decks. Like, you just plop an elemental hero fusion monster into your deck that fits the requirement, and boom, you can essentially have another instant fusion card for your deck. So that's pretty nice to have. So the effect is good, but there is something else with this card that we have to discuss, because this is just insane to me. So the card artwork, for people that don't know, is actually a reference to one of the opening shots in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime, which is really cool. However, for some reason, they decided to go out of their way and not include Elemental Hero Air Neos in this card's artwork when it was in that opening shot. Like, we see all the other Neos fusions in this artwork, but for some reason, they exclude Air Neos. Now, what makes this even more frustrating is, if you guys are unaware as well, Air Neos has never gotten a reprint since its release back in like 2007, I think it was. I can't remember the exact thing. I'm pretty sure it was 2007, but I could be completely wrong with that. And I just don't know what Konami's deal is with Air Neos. I don't know if it's just because they don't like this card. I don't know if they just got in trouble with the card or something. I've seen speculations on that. Like, I just don't know at this point. Like, this is just so bizarre, and this is getting to the point where it just needs to be its own separate video, because this is just ridiculous. Like, just the disrespect to Air Neos like this, like, I just don't understand why it's necessary to do this, and especially since I love Air Neos. I've always loved the design of Air Neos since I was a kid, so the fact that they're disrespecting this card, I mean, that's just a little bit upsetting in my opinion, and I'm just going to start this right now. It's probably already been started, but in the comments of this video, all I want to see, besides, your other comments, on your thoughts on this set as a whole, all that stuff, but I want to see in the comments, and even if you're someone that normally doesn't comment, I want to see hashtag justice for Air Neos, because we need to make aware of this. Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, this card does not deserve the disrespect that it is getting. So I want to see in the comments of this video, hashtag justice for Air Neos. But with that little tangent out of the way, sorry for rambling on there a little bit, let's go into the next card, which is Nwave, a continuous spell card with the effect of you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If your elemental hero monster is used as material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can special summon one Neospace monster or one elemental hero Neos from your deck. If a Neospace monster and or elemental hero Neos is shuffled from your field and or graveyard into the deck and or extra deck, you can special summon one elemental hero monster from your graveyard. So, first effect, you'd be able to search after you fusion summon, which is okay. I feel like it should have been more reversed, because I feel like you want to search your cards and then go into your fusion summon, but to require yourself to have to fusion summon first to go into searching your elemental hero Neos or Neospatian, like, it's possible, but I don't know. I just feel like there's just better ways to search cards, and then being able to monster reborn one of your monsters back if you contact fusion into one of your Neos fusions, then you can bring something back from the graveyard. That makes it a little bit more worth it, but honestly, overall, I think the card is okay. It's not a bad card, but for what this card does, I do think, compared to all of the other support that we've gotten so far in this video, I definitely do think this is probably the weakest out of all the cards that we have went over in this video. But with that little tangent out of the way, let's go into the next card, which is Fusion Over, a quick play spell card with the effect of you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target one face-up monster on the field, reveal one elemental hero monster, one Neospatian monster, or one level 10 monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck, and if you use the targeted monster as fusion material this turn, you can treat its name as the revealed monster. Also, if you have elemental hero Neos on your field and or in your graveyard, send the revealed monster to the graveyard. Otherwise, if it was revealed from the hand, shuffle it into the deck, aka never target the card in your hand, because this is a potential -1, because you would have to shuffle it back into your deck if you were unsuccessful in getting Neos onto your field, which, since Neos can be pretty easily summoned with all the different support it's had in the past, like Neospace Connector, I don't think it's like the biggest thing in the world, and plus Spirit and Neos can search it as well. But overall, pretty cool card. It's not the most necessary card in a hero deck. It just makes it a lot nicer to be able to go into your fusion plays a little bit more easier, because you can just activate this card, use one of your monsters as that revealed monster, and then you can go into your fusion play. And I like the fact too that it can also target the extra deck as well, meaning that you can just summon a monster to your field, use this card, make it be treated as Wingman, and then you can essentially use that in Neos to go into your Shining Neos Wingman. So this card is actually pretty cool for what it's able to do. Again, not the most necessary card to play in the deck, but I do think it's a pretty nice inclusion if you want to find a way to make it easier to go into your fusion plays. But with that said, this is going to lead us into the final card of this video, which is Favorite Contact, a normal trap card with the effect that you can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. Special summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that lists a hero monster as material by placing the materials listed on the bottom of the deck in any order from among the cards in your hand, on your field, in your graveyard, and or your face-up banished cards, ignoring its summoning conditions, and if you place Elemental Hero Neos, the summoned monster cannot return to the extra deck. So this is another just a great way to be able to get your fusion monsters out onto the field. The immediate downside I look at it is that it's a trap, so it is going to be on the slower side, because you do have to flip this card after you set it in order to be able to get your fusion monster on the field. But obviously, if this card is not stopped, you can be able to get any of your fusions out. You know, you can get, your Shining Neos Wingman out pretty easily, obviously, if you have the requirements for it. And you can go into some other powerful fusion monsters as well, like Nebula Neos or Cosmo Neos. Like, those are some other alternative options you can go as well, or just whatever fusion that you want, as well, as long as you have the requirements that you need to be able to go in the card. But it's very flexible, because it can do your hand, your field, your graveyard, and the banish zone. So honestly, in my opinion, I actually think this is another really solid card, in my opinion. I think for even being a trap, I think it actually is a pretty good card. But with that said, that's going to be it for the new Elemental Hero support. General thoughts on it. I actually think the support's actually pretty nice. I think this new support is actually going to give a pretty nice boost to the Elemental Heroes. I mean, they got a new powerful fusion. Honestly, like, Shining Neos Wingman really surprised me with its effects. I think it's actually a really solid fusion monster, and because of the other support that we got in the set with stuff like Favorite Content and even Fusion Over, even though I think it's a little bit more on the weaker side, I still think that, it's great support and makes it easier to go into this new boss monster, so that's pretty nice. You have Spirit of Neos, which is a really nice card to have as well, and with Engaged Neospace, you can easily search this card and you can essentially combo off into your fusion plays, and even something like Crosskeeper is also nice as well to be able to combo off even more by being able to get stuff onto your field to be able to extend even more. So overall, I actually really do like this support, and I do think this is going to give a boost to the hero decks. I don't think it's going to be like meta-defying support, but I do think this is going to give a nice boost to elemental heroes. But with that being said, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this new Elemental Hero support. Did you think the support was good? Did you think it was just okay support? Or did you not think the support was that good at all? Let me know your guys' favorite card of this new support. My personally was Shining Neos Wingman. I'm just super happy that they finally made a Wingman and Neos fusion, and I just think it looks absolutely sick. But I would love to know your guys' favorite card of the set, and let me know your guys' thoughts on the whole thing with Air Neos. Like, I just think it's super weird. They just have been shafting that card so much, and I just don't know what the heck is going on with Air Neos. Like, if you guys have any ideas of what's going on, would love to know your guys' thoughts on that. But with that being said, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.